Alright, so what else do we have? So yeah, other things I want to talk about real quick before I start. I haven't slept, so if I'm like looking tired or it takes me a while to think of stuff sometimes, I'm a bit tired, I apologize. I have actually not slept.
I don't know how you can feel.
An omnidirection mic set me up. I have no idea what those are. What else do I have to talk about? I think that's mostly it. The only other thing I want to talk about before I start is I want to talk about the term gimmick. Ignore the people who use the term gimmick. Oh, that's a gimmick. That was, he gimmicked me. So if someone says they gimmicked you, ignore them. They're just complaining that you tricked them. So I just want to put that out there. So it's like, you do this to someone, you're like, oh, that was a gimmick. Who does that? Good. You fucking bodied them with your mind game or whatever you did. If it's a gimmick, that means it worked. I'm sorry. Just tell the haters to shut up. Alright? So that's all I wanted to say about that too. Because a lot of these you could say are gimmicky. Like all these things you could do. But there's a reason why. A gimmick is usually something used as a complaint. That's all I want to say about the term gimmicks. So I think that's all I have to say before I start. So yeah, we'll start off. So today we're talking about this. What to do from the edge. Your opponent will be like here. If I go into training mode, I'll give you a simple explanation of that. I do not have two controllers connected, but I'll just show you a quick example of what a situation will look like. So I'm Fox, I'm playing against a Moth on Battlefield. Right? So example, Moth will be right here. And you, in this situation, will be here. Right? So this is what your game's going to look like. And in most situations, especially new people, a lot of people aren't very good at dealing with this situation where they recover, they finally grab the edge, and then they don't know what to do. And most people will just try to do this, or they'll do this if they're new. They'll do a down air from the edge, it's really common. That's like the noob thing when you're new. Or most people just do this. And they don't really have any other options. If you pay very close attention to melee or all levels, you'll see that this, and attack are the three options that people do most of the time. So I want to educate you guys, there's way more to it. And it's way deeper than going, oh, I'm going to choose one of the three. So what I want to teach you is basically what exists and how you can utilize it depending on what your opponent's doing or what you figure out during the set. So firstly, what I want to talk about is your opponent's position. So he could be here, he could be here, and depending on where he is, he has different options. So from here, for example, or if Muff was here, all he can do is forward smash you at this range. So you'll know that, right? And if you know he's going to forward smash, you have different options. But I'll talk about that later. But generally, like for example, if he's here, I'm going to invincible edge dash. But we're not going to go too deep onto that for now. But that's something important I want to talk about later. Another thing I want to talk about that exists in this game is invincibility. So if I zoom in, if you're new to melee, when you're invincible in this game, if you look at the flashing, when you flash white in this game, you're invincible. And you can refresh that as well, like so. So you can get your invincibility back. So that's a very important thing to know about recovering and edge mechanics. Is invincibility can be very useful. But you don't have to be invincible to get back on the stage. It's just something that can be useful. Like there, you saw I was invincible when I was on the stage for a second. There, I was flashing for like a second more. So that's something to take in mind. So I want to talk about edge guarding again in general. So your goal as an edge guard, sorry, as a recovery, my bad, I'm tired. Your goal from the edge is to get back on the stage and get around your opponent to center stage, right? That means you succeeded. Or your other goal is to bait them, or they mess up, to hit them, and then it will get you back on as well and put you in control of neutral. So this is what your goal is when you're here. You have two things you're going to go for, either to hit them or to get back. Usually it's just to get back. Most people don't want to. You don't want to challenge by the edge most of the time, because if you're fighting from the edge, it's going to be in their favor, because one, you have less space to DI, and from this side they have the whole stage to DI. So it's highly favorable in your opponent's favor if you're fighting from the edge. You kind of don't want to do that most of the time. If you watch Armada, he will always try and get his center stage back. Armada loves to jump around you like so and get his stage back. Just an example. So that's the key things I want to talk about, the basics. If you want to know about DI, for example, there are loads of tutorials, but I'm not going to talk about that right now. So I'm going to give you some examples of... I've got a big list of recovery mix-ups I can do. So the first thing I want to talk about is invincible ledge dashes. So as I showed before, if you ledge dash with Fox, you're flashing still, and you're still invincible. And during your invincibility, you can smash attack, you can do anything, you can up tilt, you can do a neutral air. So that's kind of the basics of invincibility. You can basically do whatever you want. You can run through them using your invincibility. You can... There's so many ways you can use your invincibility. It's not just do the hacks and ledge dash in there. You can... Oops. It's going to happen quite a bit. Let me just make a save state. There you go. So you can use your invincibility. With this, you're in control for like half a second, right? So during that time, you can dash, you can attack, you can jump. There's loads of things you can do. But this is very risky, of course, because you can SD. Because if this happens, you die. But also another thing is, I want to talk about mix-ups, right? So, as I was saying how important it is to where your opponent is, this is why I was talking about it. Let's say my opponent knows I'm going to do this. My opponent will wait for me over here. He'll dash away and bait me. So, no matter how good an option is, you are playing a game of chess, right? So, let's say I do this every time. My opponent's going to start baiting me, and he won't wait here. He'll wait here instead. And he's going to bait out my neutral air and grab me or attack me. So this is why it's always good to have one-on-one option from the same thing. Like so. So you, like I said, do it to a jump, do it to a dash. Or even respect them. So, example, ledge dash, hold shield. Ledge dash, do nothing and wait. You don't have to attack. You don't have to do anything. Sometimes the best thing is to do is wait. And a lot of people don't know that. Or ledge dash, you can even ledge dash on the edge if you want to get a distance, right? So the next thing I want to talk about is fake outs. So let's say your opponent wants to attack you and you know he's really greedy by the edge. So let's say Moth's over here. I apologize for not having two controllers right now. Let's say Moth's here, right? And you know he's going to forward smash me.
No.
What you can do to bait him is you can stall, for example. You can bait him with the stall, like so. You can stall then back air to beat his forward smash. The forward smash will miss. Or you can get invincibility and then hit him. There's a few ways. So you could bait your opponent to attacking you and punishing him if he's too close to the edge. Only if he's like here. If he is over here, the only way to punish him is invincibility. But again, he can be baiting you. So if he uses a down tilt, he's very safe. So depending on matchup, depending on the player, try and understand the situation when you should counterattack from the edge. It's very risky. The next thing I want to talk about is kind of a weird one. So you're gonna see, you see Mixups do this. You probably watch What the Fox. This was Mixups versus Wizzy. So I'm in trouble. What do? This is Mixups, right? So you saw Mixups do this a lot against Wizzy in the set, right? And I want to talk about this option in general. It's not on topic, but this is actually a mix-up. So you can actually run on stage and do that. And this is called, I call this a runoff. It's a run-off bait. So what this does is, firstly, you do this, the waiting position that I said. You don't always have to attack. Then, if you think they're going to attack you, you can run off. And then during this time, when you're in the air, you have a moment to react to if they approach or not. And what you can do, you can run off, you can claw, and you can either back air on reaction, or you can needle turnaround on reaction. And this basically creates a situation where you're kind of in control. It's risky still, but you don't have to attack. You can actually just do that. Or you can do, if you're crazy, you can do this, in fact. You can do this on reaction. There's all these mix-ups you can do. And this happens if you're, let's say, this is one of your options. It's just an option. I'm not saying it's good. I'm just saying this is one of the options you can do. Right? So you go on the stage, you do your invincible ledge dash, or you just jump on the stage, you wait, you think they're going to approach you or attack you, so you run off, wait and react. Or just run off instant back air, depending on what happens. So that's another example. A really common example I noticed from, not Music King, is Kage, the warrior. This is what Kage does. This is where I learnt it from, originally. Kage will jump on the stage, and he'll run off jump back air with Gandalf. That's one of his things he always does against people. It's his very common mix-up. It's the Kage special. So, just giving you guys another option. And for example, with Ganondorf even, you could do this. You could run off jump and jump on the platform. Like so. So, there's loads of things you can do depending on each character. Like that. Again, more stuff. Every character's different, watch. Every character has different jump heights, different weights. So Marth can do it as well. He can do a back air. He can land on the platform, no impact. And light shield on frame 1. Just an example for you guys. Right? So it's really good to know what you can do from every option. You have so many options in this game. You can get some momentum. You can up air without dying. So it's always good to test these things. So this is an example of things you can do from the walk-off, right? All from the walk-off technique I was talking about. So I'm going to stop talking about the walk-off, okay? The next thing I'm going to talk about is the perfect landing, which is a Samus thing. But you can use this on any character. So let's say you watch Plop. Let's say you watch Duck, for example. Have you seen this mix-up before? Wait for it, wait for it. Wait for it. Oh look, down smash. You can't react to it. How many of you have fell for this mix-up? Do you know why it's annoying? Let me show you Samus's animation. Gary, please. Stop it. So, basically it's hard to see, but it looks like I'm not going to land on the stage. Can you see it? Samus barely makes it on the stage. And you know why that's good? You can't react to it. It's impossible. You have to expect it. Like so. So, as you can see, you can do it to a down smash. You can do it to an up tilt. You can do it to the fade back thing I was just showing you. Let me show you. You can do it to that. You can do it to whatever. It's just another option to get on the stage. And you can't react to it. So let's say you're stalling, and then suddenly, bam, you're on the stage. And they can't react to it. Oh, you can also cancel with up air, like so. There you go. I'm not a Samus player, but you can basically cancel with an up air and have no lag, like so. But you get the idea. So basically, it gives you another option. It's not easy to react to, you know. An example again, another character. She can play. I taught BR Tarog to do this because it's really good. You can't react to this. It's impossible. You have to know it's coming. Music King does this. Just want to let you guys know that. Music King does this in tournament all the time. Can you react to that? No. No way. Ah, I'm bad at Sheik. It looks exactly the same. You'll see it. You'll see when it looks. You'll see it. It'll look really obvious. That was bad. It'll be super obvious when I do it well. There you go. That's a good one. When you do it properly, you'll barely go on the stage. Like, super barely. Too much. Too much. There. Super barely. So you can hardly see it. Ah, Randall, please. Troll. Ah, I suck at Sheik stalling. There, like that. And again, you can do this to
Doing very well.
lots of options, like dash. Ah, you can dash attack from it, and they can't react. Dude, I suck at instant dash attacks. Holy crap! Like that, basically. You can do it to a forward tilt, instant forward tilt.
Here as well.
You can do it to the same thing I showed you earlier. So you get the idea. It's like
Also,
it gives. Oh, this is the Muta King as well. The Muta King / Morph. Every Morph does this nowadays, right? The common morphing nowadays. You've probably seen this 5 million times.
original data.
They either do the Waveland, or they jump on the stage. Ugh, my jump heights. Yeah, they do that. There you go. You've probably seen people do this recently. Friggin' Battlefield. Yeah, you've probably seen people do this nowadays. So it's just an example of what people are doing in the meta game. And it's not character specific. Every character can do some sort of trick with it. I'm gonna go to Scar Jumps.
Yeah.
Alright, Scar Jumps. You guys probably know about Scar Jumps. I'm just gonna talk about it real quick. Scar Jump is a term. Guy named Scar made it. And how it works is you use the C-stick. And what you do with the C-stick, after you press the C-stick, you move towards the stage and you do a wall jump. The C-stick makes you slow fall. That's the idea behind it. Like so.
I'll just go back and do it.
Alright?
Reload it.
So basically, why is this good? Watch the mix-ups. 1, 2, oh I missed it.
Whoa.
2, you can make the platform. 3, oh I missed it. 3. I just want to show you like 5 million mix-ups you can do with it. 4, edge cancel. This is all from the edge, I'm just showing you.
Yeah.
Ah. 5, there's like 5 million things to do with it. You can do so many things you can do from the Scar Jump. You can do that. You can do this. You can waveland. You can... Ah, I did that already. You can air dodge, waveland,
Sounds like that.
like so. These are all mix-ups, right? So,
Work out my advanced stuff.
again, this is one of the situations where something gives you loads of options. It's just how you use it. So yeah, I just want to show you that. Not just Falcon. Again, this is multi-character. So if you go to Sheik, example, Sheik can actually make the platform. A lot of people don't know this. People should use this. It's actually good. Why is this good as well? Watch how long Sheik's back air is. Again, I can react to you attacking me and punish you from the edge. Again, I can waveland. Ah, it's not that easy. Save state. Oh, excuse me, please don't do that. There you go. Again, so waveland. Ah, suck. Oops, that was bad.
Yeah,
It's not that easy with Sheik. But you can wave. There you go. You can waveland. So these are all mix-ups you can do from Scar Jumps. Again, you can play the reactive game. You can just needle turn around, grab the edge. If you think it's not favorable, don't commit. It's all about figuring out your player, reacting, and playing
Alright.
from a disadvantage.
That was the service song ever. Yeah, child rockers.
Alright, so that's why I want to talk about that. So sky jumps are pretty simple to understand. It's just figuring out what your character can do and knowing the situation for it. Alright, the next thing I want to talk about is wavelines. I'll talk about wavelines. Okay. So, classic example would be... Who's got that? Oh yeah. This is the most famous example of a waveline mix-up. Alright. Alright, example. Everyone's seen this. Everyone knows about it, right? Everyone knows about this mix-up. It's the day one new. This is the new meta game right now, or this is the last meta game, in fact. So you jump on the stage and you waveland back, and it gives you a jump back, and it baits them, or it just creates a situation and you react to what happens. But oh, I'm a Falcon player. Oh, I'm a new Falcon player. What do I do with this option? What do I do with this option? Oh, this new option I've been bestowed on. I know, I'm going to knee every time. That's a great option. This is not obvious whatsoever. I've never seen a player do this before. Everyone does it. So don't do this. It's bad. It works sometimes. I'm not saying never do it, but this is all you learn when you learn it. You need to learn mix-ups. This is not going to win you a match. This is not an unbeatable mix-up. It doesn't work like that. So, I want to show you ways to mix it up. How do you mix up this option, which is so OP apparently, but it actually isn't? I'll show you the way I mix it up. Examples of 100 ways of mixing it up. Not 100, but you get it. Number 1. Number 2. I'm going to edge cancel this time. If I can. It's hard. Maybe. But basically you can edge cancel it, right? Number 3. On the platform. Number 4. Oops. Number 5. Waveland back. Number 6. My favorite. Repeat. Do the same thing twice. Number 7. Do it to nothing. Number 8. Regrab the edge. There's so many, dude. I could be here all day. Number 9. Shield on the platform. Number 10. Waveland forwards. There's too many, dude. There's too many. You can also like... Alright, this is one of my favorite ones. This is a Falcon only one. Watch this. This one's crazy. You can basically edge cancel it. I showed Wizzy this. It's good against Peach. This is anti-Peach, for example. Ah, this controller sucks. There you go. So there's loads of options, is what I'm trying to say. Yeah, you can also side beat edge cancel. Or do that apparently. Yeah, you can basically edge cancel that, it's not important. That's not important either. Just doing it for swag. Anyway. So I just want to say, if you learn the waveland mix-ups from the edge, please mix it up. Don't just learn one thing. Alright. Again, same thing. Marth can forward air, Marth can up air, and get back. Same for Marth. Exactly the same sort of thing. So look. Marth can make the platform. If you attack, you can't make the platform. If you don't attack, you can make the platform. Pretty sure you can waveline that as well. Yeah. You can pretty much waveline it, you just gotta jump perfectly. So I'm on emulator right now, which doesn't help. There you go. So again, like every character has different options. It's just a matter of how you use them. Okay? That's all I want to talk about with that. Alright, the next thing I want to talk about is stalling. Stalling is a part of it. It doesn't mean you're getting back on stage, but it does help. And the reason why, most common stall on the edge, as you know, is do this with Sheik, or do this. This is everyone's most hated thing to be on the edge. So, yeah. So the reason why this is important is as I said before, every time you grab the edge, you refresh your invincibility frames. As you can see, I'm flashing. And the reason why this is important is because... Oh, there's 4 masks. Too many masks in me. Alright, this is important because it's a part of... Once you recover, there's only a certain amount of time before your invincibility runs out, right? So, generally what most people want to do is they want to do this until they get their invincibility back. Then they decide to do it at the right time. The right place and the right time. So,
Cool shooting game.
this is basically to help you react to what your opponent's doing better. Or give you time to think. That's the advantage of stalling. Alright, so... Example, I stall, he force smashes me, I punish him. Because I'm invincible. I stall, I wait, and maybe they'll get impatient because I have the lead. You know, if you have the lead, if you have the lead, and you have a character like Sheik or Fox, you have no reason. You have no reason to go on the stage. You don't have to. Like, even though you're on the edge, you're in the advantage because you're winning, and you're fully invincible, right? So that's a thing to take into consideration with stalling. So from stalling, you can do anything, but you're invincible. If you wait on the edge, then do this, they can hit you. If you stall, then do it, you're invincible for a tiny bit. So that's the advantage of stalling. It gives you a bit of invincibility and it gives you a bit of time to react. Alright. Next thing to talk about is edge cancels. Edge cancels are a pretty crazy thing. Let's go back to Marth actually. I'll show you an example of a crazy edge cancel you can do. Example. I can edge cancel my forward air from the edge. So, a good thing to learn if you're getting good at melee, I wouldn't recommend this for beginners. Gary, please. I told you. So basically, if you get good enough for your character, once you get good enough, you'll be able to edge cancel your moves. This requires very precise movement for the edge, and this will help you make your moves safer from the edge as well. So, example, again, because you guys want to see some Falcon stuff, I'll show you. Let's say I want to neutral air from the edge, like so, I can edge cancel it to make it safer. It's very difficult, I wouldn't recommend it. But this makes your moves a little bit safer. But it's very hard. I wouldn't recommend it for beginners. Alright, another thing I want to talk about is... Yeah, I'll talk about this. This is a very common thing that people do if you're new to the game. This will help you out. If you're very new to the game and you want a basic mix-up, even pros use this. Example, you're on the edge of Marth, you do a forward air and you buffer the roll. So buffering a roll is very good in this game, especially if you have a huge like sword hitbox. So, reason why this is good is because sometimes doing not always the best option sometimes works. Games don't work like a flowchart, and understanding that every option you have, an extra option you have, is an advantage. So even learning things like this, they sometimes work because your opponent might run into you with a nair, and you roll right behind them. So this is very common with Marth. This is very common with Sheik. It's very common with Falcon. Falcon especially as well. Very common Falcon thing. Bad habit. Up air roll. Very common. Or I neutral air from the edge and I rolled. Very common with Falcon. You'll probably see Wizzy or anyone do that. It's really common. Because it's one of his only options, somewhat. They're actually okay. And the rest are kind of just mix-ups like this. So that's the thing that people do quite commonly. Alright, another thing I want to talk about is you can DI the jump from the edge. So let's say you press the X button. This is neutral. That's neutral. Right. This is when I hold right. She goes way further. And when you hold back, she goes backwards. So you can actually bait people using this. Armada loves to do this. This is the Armada. Baits you like a bitch. So he jumps backwards, he waits with his float, and he punishes you with forward air. So this is a really important thing to understand, is if someone does a tournament winner, in some situations it's safe. And characters like Peach, Samus, Marth, it's not always a punish them from a jump from the edge. Because they're too floaty and they go too high. So that's really important to take into mind when you're edge guarding floaties. Is they can be either jump from the edge in 3 different directions. So that's another thing that exists. Some characters are too slow from the edge, but even Ganondorf, for example, even for Ganondorf it can work. Again, Ganondorf, backwards, neutral, forwards. But Ganondorf goes quite high, so it's not too bad. This is so common for a Ganondorf. Again, Bad Habits 101. I'm the common Ganondorf. This is the common Ganondorf player. Nearly every Ganondorf, when you start, no offense, they'll jump from the edge nearly every time and try and hit you. It's bad. But it works sometimes. I'm not saying it's super bad, but it does work sometimes. So it is an option. Alright. I'm going to talk about something harder. I just did it just now. I want to talk about waveland lamps. And a really good thing to know is every character has a different jump height from the edge, right? So for example, Ganondorf has a full waveland, which is really easy. And if you hold right, full right or full left, like so, like the way I'm air dodging, at the right height, you'll get a full waveland, like so, if you time it right. And it's going to be really good for some characters. This gives you a really good option with some characters like Ganondorf. You have... Let's see, who we got? Who's actually really good with this? Even like slanted stages make this easier. It's really good to know. So for example, it's kind of weird with Luigi. There, that's a full waveland on the edge with Luigi. But it doesn't really show how far it goes. What's the best example of this? I'll show you the Falcon one. Actually, no, Falcon and Ganon are too similar.
No, I know what to do with this.
Maybe Sheik? It's just a good thing to understand. I'm not too sure the examples of this fully to show you, but there you go, that's a full waveland. Look how far Sheik goes. So I'm going to stall for a bit. Bam. I'm under the platform with a full waveland. So that goes really far.
There's an even harder version of this.
No.
Again, even Fox has a crazy full waveland.
Fucking die.
But it's really hard.
I keep pressing space because I
It's really hard with Fox. I would not recommend this. I just want to show you the example. There you go. Something like that. It's really hard. I wouldn't recommend doing this. I would not recommend doing this to anyone. There, that's frame perfect. I'm pretty sure. That's pretty fucking hard. It's pretty hard. I wouldn't recommend learning this, but just an example of understanding your character and the possibilities of the tools you have. So, Marth's kind of an easy one. Marth's a really easy one, I believe. Yeah, Marth's super easy. Look how far he went. Look at that. Alright, I'll show you an example. This is diagonal. This is the notch. This is a full waveland. Oh, I died. This is... It's kind of awkward. I'm not used to doing this with Marth either.
Fuck you. Bullshit.
My god, it's so awkward. There you go. Look how far I went. You see the difference? So, being able to control your waveland lamps from the edge can be a very useful tool. And you're not as keep in mind, if you time it the way I just did, you're not fully invincible. You're not as invincible as your normal options. So you're sacrificing invincibility for waveland length. If you want to be more invincible, you have to do the shorter waveland. Because the timing's not as strict. Because the difference is this one you're going towards the ground, so you land earlier. While this one, you're going straight. So you need a perfect horizontal angle to get the waveland. So you're sacrificing invincibility for waveland then, overall. That's what I'm trying to explain there.
No, you can't.
So each option has different uses. So a good example for that would be, let's say someone's approaching you from the edge. Let me show you right now. Let's say your opponent's here, where I am right now. Let me try again, man. Let's say he's like here, and he's still approaching you from the edge, and you are here. If you do this, you're not going to hit him. Let's say he's approaching you from here to here, and you just grab the edge over here. This gives you the extra range you need to get to him. But I'm bad at sheiks. But yeah, see the difference? How far I went? So it's just an example of the uses. So that's that. The next thing I want to talk about is... Let's see, what else do we have? I think I've actually covered most of them. Oh, projectiles. Projectiles. So if you have a projectile, this gives you more options from the edge. Example. If you're a dock player and you're in a bad situation, don't feel bad doing this. There's no shame in throwing projectiles from the edge. There is no shame. So learn your character's projectiles habits. I'll show you a few. So learn what you can do with it. You can jump backwards, create space. Let's say a waveland, and I jump backwards to create some space. You don't have to go on the stage. You can use your projectiles to your advantage. You can use your projectiles to push back onto the stage. You don't have to always use them though to go on. You can just use it defensively. Like you can even fade back with dock probably and grab the edge if you're really good. Like I can even fade backwards, so I'm spacing while doing it. Other examples, Luigi's obvious, same thing. Other examples, Yoshi's obvious. If you've seen a Yoshi player, here's your obvious option. I'm on the edge, fully invincible. I suck. Here's a really obvious one with Yoshi. But you don't have to do it on the edge. You can also jump on stage and do it. And why is this funny? Haha, so funny. Let's say I do a reverse one. This is hard. Okay, I'm really bad at reverse up Bs apparently. Okay. Let's say I do reverse up B, which I'm really fucking bad at right now. I don't know why I'm so bad at it, but basically that would basically cover me if they hit me. So it's kind of like a trade. So every character's got their own kind of like projectile thing, like Young Link, really common one with Young Link. Example, you can grab a bomb while you're on the edge for free if they don't punish you. There's a few frames where they can hit you, but it's pretty safe overall. Again, a lot of common option. Some people jump on the stage like this if the opponent's here, because it beats people staying too far from the edge. Again, not using it as far, so you don't have to jump all the way on stage. So you can use like, even like this crazy shit. If you want to be crazy, just an example. There's loads of things you can do. The common Sheik stuff, I'll show you a few. Let's say you're on the edge with Sheik. Common Sheik thing. Pretty bad to be honest, but it works sometimes. Do that. You can do that. Oh. Same thing, but with a scar jump, you can do, again, projectile advantage. So the thing I showed you earlier, the fake jump. So 1, 2, 3, bam. So you can trick people into getting free needle. It's pretty good. Every character's got like their own little thing with projectiles. Even Mewtwo, I guess. But yeah, that's basically what I want to show you with that.
That's what we're gonna do.
What else do we have? Like, every character has their own thing. Again, so example, I'm an ice climber. I'm just going to show you some character specifics. I'm an ice climber. I'm on the edge. Bam.
That makes sense.
I get my stage back.
So it's
Every character has their own thing. You have this. This works sometimes. Very rarely. You have... Let's see, what else do ice climbers have? You have Invincible Nana. I'm terrible at it. I'm so bad at this. I can't do it.
See how horrible
There you go.
Yeah. Why do you have all these painful games?
Every character is different.
It's fun, so leave it back there.
Oh my god.
Alright, let's see, what else do we have?
It's really popular in this week.
So again, like, I just want to go back to stalling. One thing I missed out. There are some stalls that aren't fully invincible, but they still work. Example. That's the Smash 64 stall. It's really common, the Smash 64. But it still works in melee. It's just risky, very risky. If you hold down too long, you die.
I actually did that.
Anyway, I'm bad at that. You get the
It
example.
doesn't close straight away, so you have to be really quick. As soon as you land, you've got to jump back up.
If you're a puff player, you get the advantage of having more jumps. Oh! I want to talk about reading your opponent real quick. Another thing I want to talk about. Hungrybox. Let's say Hungrybox is playing a back air camping fox on Yoshi's Story, aka Mewtwo King, one tournament. This was Mewtwo King versus Hungrybox before What the Fox. Let me explain to you what Hungrybox did and why. Example, Fox is trying to back air you, and he stays within this zone right here.
Yeah.
Right? I'm showing you how high you can jump. From here, just above Fox, right here, to here. Fox will back it within that area, right? And what Hungrybox did was really smart.
It's about size.
So what he did was he did 1, 2, 3, 4 above it, then he came down. And Mewtwo King fell for it 4 times in a row. Why? Because Hungrybox realized that he was only covering this space right here.
We got green at Mysterious.
And what does this mean? It means that you should see what your opponent's doing from the edge and what kind of options he tries to cover. So either he'll cover this line right here,
It's like a really simple
this line right here, where I'm falling through. This is a line where someone's going to back air. Or for example, this area right here. If you're a Fox player trying to do a ledge dash in air, for example, this is the area they're trying to cover when they're edge guarding you. So you want to try and move around that, or stay just outside of that range where they're trying to edge guard you. So for example, if they're trying to cover this area, but not covering this tiny little bit by the edge right here, up until the middle slant here, you can just jump on the stage and do this if they're not going to hit you. And a good example of that is Armada doesn't do this. I'll show you how Armada edge guards, if anyone wants to know. This is how I beat Armada's edge guarding, and it works really often against Armada as a player. Armada, when he does his forward airs, he will not commit to this last bit of the stage. He will land right here. So if you... This is Armada, he waits, and he forward airs right here, but he will never commit to forward airing here. So what you can do is you can just land here, and he won't actually hit you because his hitbox doesn't extend that far. And again, that's reading the player and understanding what they do, and having the bravery to not attack and go right on the edge, which is risky, but it works against some people. And now you're here, you have the choice to dash under him. So that's why it's really important to see what your opponent does. Other examples. Fox is a hard one, right? So you're playing against a Fox player, and he's got you on the edge. So the Fox player is like dash dancing right here, waiting for you to make the mistake so he can nair you off stage again, right? Or do the up smash. Whoops. Dash up smash from reaction, right? So how do you beat this? Again, if he's only dash dancing here, you can go here. But against a Fox player, the Fox player will mostly commit. The Fox player will go all the way to the edge because the up smash hitbox is that good. It will hit you here. So what do? You don't do that. So against a Fox player, you can use invincibility. You can use invincibility or shield in the platform, the Mango. This is what Mango does, into a shield drop. If you used to watch Mango, that's what he always does. Or you bait him with Shine Stall, because he might try Nair. If he Nairs and he misses, you hit him back with a back air. Like he'll be right on the edge and you back air him over here. In Fox Days, what else do you do? Example, in Fox Days you can have some crazy mix-ups with some edge cancels like this. This is a pretty easy one, for example. Jump back, side B. Really easy edge cancel setup, no need for wavelands. The more technical version is you do a waveland. I wouldn't recommend it. You can kill yourself. I used to do this in tournament, but I stopped because I kept killing myself. Just jump back, side B. And why it's good is because you're invincible. You're invincible until you land on the platform. And then you jump away while your invincibility is ending, so you can't get hit. So that's why it's kind of a good option. And it gives you your center stage back, because after you get this, you can just fall through. You can get your whole stage back. So that's a really good option. The Spacey's privilege, as you call it. And that gives you... It gives you a really good option to get your stage back if you're brave enough to do it. Another option for stalling is you can bait your opponent. You can fluster your opponent. Example. Let's say you're playing an FD against a Marth player, right? And the whole match you're doing this to him. You're hitting him with side Bs and you're pissing him off. And then eventually you just do this. You do a shortened recovery to grab the edge. It doesn't really do anything, but what does it actually do? So what does this do? Right here. Why am I doing this to someone? Do you know why? Do you know why I would do that to someone on purpose? Because it gets in their head. So the reason why you're doing that is because you've conditioned them to be threatened by the option so much. They're going to be expecting it, right? And you can use that to throw them off. Exactly, you bait a reaction. So that's why even like mix-ups like that can be really effective against people. So even having your own kind of mix-ups to bait people can be good. Even though as crazy as it looks. It can actually be used to force things on people. So that's an example of conditioning people right there. Again, look, I'm a Sheik player. Let's say I'm a Sheik player against a Fox player. Here's a good example of me conditioning someone. From the edge. From the edge. In a situation where you're not even in control, you can still condition people. Right? Let's say he's 30%. He's now dash attack percent, right? Let's say I'm a Sheik player who always does this. Right? So I've conditioned him to tell him, I'm going to do this every time. Or I just have the option of doing it. And you've hit them, so you've realized they're bad against it, right? So what do? You don't always rinse it. Sometimes you just jump on the stage and you get away with it. Because they're so threatened by this option, you can just jump on and get away with it. Because they respect you. And this is where the whole adapting and reading part comes in from edge play. And it's not just about, oh, I need to do this waveland, I need to attack, I need to... No, you do something, you see how to react, and then you use that accordingly throughout the set. And that makes a difference between a good player and a bad player in high level melee, is how they find using the tools in between the match and seeing what the players do and what reactions they give according to what you do. So that's why I want to talk about conditioning, right? A good example of conditioning as well is I'm Falco. This is the most common one, probably, in fact. I'm Falco. I hate Falco. I'm just going to do this every time. I'm going to condition you. I've done this 5 times in a row. And you're not blocking it, right? And then the Fox player starts to full jump, right? So what do? You expect him to full jump because it's the easy counter to lasers, right? If you're playing as someone who does this, you're going to jump over him and back air him. If a Falco does this from the edge, right? So what does the Falco do to mix it up? If he knows you're going to do it, if he's read you like a book, right? He does this. Or he goes under you for free. So this is why it's good to one, have options, and two, have a working formula to counter certain people's playstyles and reactions.
Yeah.
It's not just about being able to do things, if that makes sense. So this is why conditioning and forcing things out of people in general, or just having a flowchart that works, and forcing people to get into your flowchart can be so effective. Alright, do I have anything else to say? I think I've covered most of it. The last thing I probably want to talk about is just a little thing I can show you. I'll show you like a little thing I know. This is pointless. I just want to show you an example. Ready? You can do that. A lot of people don't know this. A lot of people don't know you can wall jump after your shine. Just another weird mix-up you can do. This will throw someone off. You could just gimmick someone, as you call it, with that. Who's gonna expect that? Who's gonna expect that? Who does that? A crazy thing is Falco. Example. Even better with Falco. Watch how good this is with Falco. This one's crazy. Watch this. Watch how high I can go. Oh, it's really awkward. Let me save state. I'm pretty sure I can make the platform after this. If I do it right. No, maybe not. I think I can make the platform. I swear I've done it once before. It's just a gimmick. It's not important, but basically it's just another option. There's loads of things you can do in this game that are crazy, and this is one of them. Yeah, you get the idea. I'm not gonna go for the... Yeah, you can make the platform. It's just really precise. Yeah, you can make the platform. I remember. You gotta just time it perfectly. It's so hard, dude. Alright, last 2 tries. There you go. Example of crazy shit. Alright, so... I think I've covered everything I want to talk about. Like, generally, like, what you can do, what you can't do. And your options and conditioning people. And invincibility. If you're trying to bait someone, if you're trying to avoid something. Talking about gimmicks and why it's a stupid term. You shouldn't use it. And yeah, I've covered everything on my list. So if you have any questions, feel free. I'm looking at chat. I am looking at chat. So feel free to ask any questions. Or if you have any questions in YouTube, on YouTube, excuse me, my voice. Feel free to ask any questions in the comments. Because I'll probably upload this to YouTube even with the shitty distractions in the background. Because some people will find it useful. I just wanted to, like, give you guys... I've always wanted to do this tutorial because I have a lot of understanding of this and I feel like people don't. I feel like even the top players don't have a good understanding of edge mix-ups, and I feel like it's a big part of Melee. And it's definitely the biggest struggle with new players, is when they get hit, they just die. They just die, they don't have to get back on the stage. Because people just, like, get hit every time. Like, when I watch Armada play a new player, and they're on the edge, they always get bodied. They have no idea how to get back on against Armada. Like, this is Armada. Oh, you're a bad player? Let me just spam forward there by the edge, and you can't get back on. GG, your stock is gone every time you're on the edge. Like, it's so common. If I read the chat, can I say something funny? You're funny. Ledge options for Peach? Okay. I'll show you the ones I know. Alright, 1. Do the thing I showed you. 2. That, you know it. 3. That. 4. That. 5. That. 6. That. 7. The Armada. You can crouch after doing that. That one's hard. 8. Armada was doing this in the stream. So again, the same thing I was showing you earlier, the fake jump. So you pretend you're stalling. Pretend you're stalling. Then bam. Again. I wouldn't recommend that, but you can do that. The reason why it's good, it gets your float back. Like, I use my float. Watch, I use my float. I got my float back. So that gives me my float back. It's pretty cool. It's good to know. It's not as bad as it looks. Even if you get hit, you got your float. It's like really good to know. What else?
Yeah. There's
not really much else, to be honest. There's that thing that left and found, but yeah, you get the idea. There's not too much with Peach.